So, Shadow the Hedgehog. He's quite the character, isn't he?
Damn it. Damn, not here. Damn it. Damn you! Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
I'm sure most of you are at least somewhat familiar with the beloved anti-hero, but I'd be willing to bet you don't know just how deep this character goes. Whether it be witnessing his best friend, Maria, get shot dead by the military in front of his very own eyes,
Maria!
him having to come to terms with potentially not even being the real Shadow, or having to deal with the trauma and false memories of Maria, leading him to a path of destruction. Good old Edgy the Hedgy over here's got quite the story to tell, and today I'll be analyzing how Shadow the Hedgehog's inner turmoil affects his actions and his sense of self. Let's start with a little introduction, shall we? Shadow the Hedgehog was created by the grandfather of Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik, named Professor Gerald Robotnik 50 years ago on a space colony called Ark. Gerald wanted to create the ultimate life form to benefit humanity and make the world a better place, and to give his granddaughter Maria someone to call a friend since she spent her whole life on the space colony Ark. Inspired by an ancient mural depicting some sort of prophecy found on Angel Island, and with the help of the leader of the race of aliens known as the Black Arms, Black Doom, giving up some of his DNA, Shadow the Hedgehog was born. Maria was like a sister to Shadow, and they formed a very close bond with one another. Fortunately for them, the Guardian Units of Nations, or just Gun, military force had caught wind of Shadow's creation and saw him as a threat to mankind. Gun raided the Ark, killing everyone they saw as a threat to their mission of killing Shadow. One of the victims happened to be Maria Robotnik, who sacrificed her life to save Shadow, sending him down to Earth in a containment capsule where he would remain for the next 50 years. Devastated by the loss of his beloved granddaughter, Gerald went insane and started planning a genocide of the human race as revenge for what they did to Maria. Before being arrested and promptly shot by firing squad, Gerald altered Shadow's memory of Maria's dying wish from make everyone on Earth happy to get revenge on the humans for me. Thus began Shadow's journey to discover the real truth of what happened 50 years ago, initially teaming up with Dr. Eggman to fulfill the false memory of revenge against humanity, and later being reminded of what Maria truly said in saving the world. After this revelation of what Maria actually wanted, Shadow dedicated his life to protecting humanity, but also to finding out what truly happened in his past. With the drawn-out backstory out of the way, it's time to discuss just what makes Shadow's inner turmoil such a core part of his life. After teaming up with Sonic to stop the Ark from crashing down to Earth, he presumably died. However, he was found alive by Eggman and contained in an underground lab until later being discovered and promptly released by Bruce the Bat. Together, with a rogue Eggman robot named Omega, they set off to find Eggman so Shadow could learn about his past. Unfortunately for them, the Eggman they were chasing after turned out to be a fake, and their adventure ended off with Shadow still confused and amnesia-struck after his near-death fall. Not too long after, Shadow would find himself rife with trauma, self-doubt, and an identity crisis. Black Doom would re-emerge with his army of black aliens to take over the world. Seeking Shadow's help, Black Doom asks Shadow to help him in his quest of world domination, in exchange for the answers to his true past. Desperate for answers and clouded by trauma, Shadow complies. During his quest, Black Doom routinely gives Shadow realistic visions of the incident on the Ark in an attempt to manipulate Shadow using his trauma to do his bidding and make the world his. All the while, Shadow is confronted by many of his friends from the previous two adventures, giving him conflicting thoughts. Shadow revisits many locations from his past and is shot with memories upon each visit, slowly revealing to him what his amnesia made him forget. One of which was the island he was contained in for 50 years by the military. This sent him into a rage, filled with nothing but hatred for humans, for trapping him and taking away Maria from him. Later on, Shadow has to battle with the reality that he might just be an android clone of the real Shadow. Seeing this weakness, Eggman feeds into it by lying to Shadow, making him believe that he is an android. This only makes Shadow more mentally broken, given he now has to live with the thought of him being at fault for Maria's death, being created to destroy humanity, and not even being who he thinks he is. This inner turmoil is made even worse by his friends all giving their own differing perception of Shadow, confusing him more as to what or who he really is and what he has done. Thankfully, with his strong determination and willpower, Shadow presses on to find the truth by confronting Black Doom with the 7 Chaos Emeralds. But right before he complies with Black Doom's manipulation, Team Chaotix retrieves all of the Ark's archived research, which when played broadcasts a videotape of Gerald Robotnik detailing exactly who Shadow is, why he was made, his true purpose, and what really happened 50 years ago, along with Maria. Finally, Shadow discovers the truth of his dark past and is now cured of his amnesia. With these newly remembered memories, Shadow is back to his true self, a hero with the job of protecting humanity, as Maria would have wanted. With the power of the 7 Chaos Emeralds in hand, Shadow becomes Super Shadow and kicks the living daylights out of Black Doom, saving the world from total annihilation at the hands of the Black Arts. The ways Shadow's trauma and inner turmoil affect him are put on full display in his very own game, and give us as the audience a good look into how PTSD, identity crises, and manipulation take their effect. A common trauma response is acting irrationally based on the feelings of what happened to you, instead of the situation that triggered your traumatic memories. We see this in the way Shadow suddenly goes on an emotion-fueled rampage upon revisiting Prison Island, hurting innocent people and destroying his surroundings, or when he learns of his creation and starts contemplating. I'll just let the scene speak for itself.
I am Shadow the Hedgehog, a research experiment gone deadly wrong. I've caused so much destruction. I should never have been created. This is who I am.
Hey, don't go there! Yet!
Thanks, Vector. Another common consequence of trauma is having trouble trusting people, which Shadow frequently displays through his questioning of Black Doom's true motives or Eggman's false truths. Finally, a big sign of trauma is being unable to rest comfortably on a day-to-day basis without constant intrusive recollections of your trauma, despite not being in any danger whatsoever, and feeling heavy symptoms of disassociation with oneself, all of which is put on display in the opening scene of Shadow's solo outing and when he discovers the army of Shadow androids. Shadow also frequently, whether voluntarily or not, makes use of mental defense mechanisms such as when he tries to repress his memories of Maria as much as possible, with poor results, along with denial of, at least in his mind, being an android. Additionally, he displays signs of despair, worrying that he won't be able to make good on his promise to Maria, isolation, shutting himself out into the world and trapping himself in his own bubble, and identity confusion, never sure of what he is meant to be or what to do with his life. All of this can help us understand why Shadow behaves the way he does, and how we can better understand ourselves. Hopefully this spiel has given you all a better understanding into how trauma can affect a person, and the struggles of having to live every day with it. Thanks so much for listening to me ramble about how a 3-foot tall anthropomorphic hedgehog relates to the understanding of mental health.